Ever felt like you're just, stuck? Try to get a new habit going or maybe kick an old one and then bam, a few weeks later, you're right back where you started. Or maybe you've got this huge goal and just looking at it feels, well, overwhelming. If any of that sounds familiar, trust me, you are definitely not alone. It's something we all kind of grapple with. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a book I think is already a modern classic, James Clear's Atomic Habits. Think of it like a roadmap. It helps understand why some changes actually stick and, frankly, why others just seem to fizzle out. We've gone through a really thorough summary, Atomic Habits, a summary of principles to pull out the absolute best stuff for you, like a shortcut, really, not just to the ideas, but figuring out how to actually use these powerful concepts in your own life. We want to unpack the science, the simple steps, how Clear gets to these remarkable results from what he calls tiny changes.
So as we dig into this, what's the first big idea that really jumps out, the core concept?
Yeah, what's really striking right off the bat is how Clear shifts the conversation. It's not just vague self-help fluff. He gives you an actual framework grounded in, behavioral science. It's practical. And that central idea you mentioned, small changes done consistently, leading to these huge life-altering results, it's powerful. But the real kicker, I think, is that it's not about brute force willpower, not some heroic effort you can't sustain. It's about designing systems, smart systems.
Systems, right, not willpower.
Exactly. So it moves from feeling like this internal battle you're always losing to something more strategic, like adjusting your environment, your routines, so the good habits almost happen automatically.
That's such a key difference, isn't it? Because we often blame ourselves thinking, oh, I just don't have enough willpower.
Ooh.
But he's saying maybe it's the system, not you. And this whole tiny changes thing, it's not just theory for him. It comes from his own life, right?
Mm-hmm.
His backstory is pretty intense.
Oh, absolutely. The summary covers it, this horrific baseball accident in high school. Hit in the face with a bat, multiple skull fractures, just devastating. And his recovery was incredibly slow, painstaking. Months and months. He literally had to rebuild his life piece by piece. And it was through these tiny, consistent improvements, focusing on marginal gains day after day, that he recovered. But more than that, it led him to become this really accomplished athlete and scholar.
Wow.
So his own journey is this powerful illustration that, big overnight changes are mostly a myth. It's the slow, steady, incremental stuff that really counts, makes the whole philosophy feel very real.
It really does. What a story. And from that experience, he develops this really clear mathematical idea, the 1% rule. This really drives home the power of compounding.
Yes, the 1% rule. That's like the engine of the whole book, really. He shows mathematically, if you just get 1% better each day, it compounds, it snowballs. Over a year, you're looking at being, 37 times better? It's staggering.
37 times.
Yeah. And the flip side is just as stark. Get 1% worse each day, and you decline surprisingly fast. Almost down to 0 by the end of the year.
Scary.
It is. And the tricky part psychologically is that early on, that 1% gain feels like nothing. It's invisible.
Right, you don't see it immediately.
Exactly. So it's incredibly easy to get discouraged and think, this isn't working, and just quit. Right before the real magic of compounding starts to show. It forces you to trust the process, play the long game.
That's such a good point. We're wired for that instant gratification. Okay, so sticking with challenging ideas, Clear makes this argument that honestly sounds kind of bold. Goals are overrated.
Oh.
Now, wait a minute. We're all taught to set goals, right? Smart goals, big goals. It's how you achieve things. So how does someone who maybe likes setting big goals square that? Is he saying ditch goals altogether?
Yeah, it definitely makes you pause. But no, he's not saying goals are bad or useless. He's just adjusting their place in the hierarchy, His point is, look, winners and losers often have the exact same goals. Think about sports. Every team wants to win the championship.
True.
So if the goal alone determines success, everyone with that goal would succeed. Clearly, that's not what happens. What does make the difference, he argues, is the system, the process. He says very directly, systems do determine success.
Okay, so give me an example.
Sure. Like a runner wants to run a marathon, that's the goal, but their system, that's the daily training schedule, the nutrition plan, the sleep habits, the recovery work.
Yeah, okay.
Or a writer wants to publish a novel goal. The system is the habit of writing 500 words every single morning, rain or shine. The goal is the target, but the system is what actually gets you there. The outcome is just a reflection of the system you have in place.
So it's about focusing on the journey, not just the destination pin on the map. And he has that quote, it's really stuck with me. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. That just hits hard, doesn't it? It forces you to look at your daily actions, not just your aspirations.
It really does. It's a fundamental shift. If you only focus on the goal, what happens when you hit it? You might just stop the behaviors that got you there.
Right. Mission accomplished, back to old ways.
Exactly. Or if you don't hit the goal, you feel like a failure. But focusing on the system means you're building something sustainable. The system keeps you going even when motivation dips, which it inevitably does. It provides that consistency.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So tiny changes focus on systems. But how do we actually build these good systems? This is where he gets super practical with the 4 laws of behavior change. He calls it a simple but powerful framework. It ties into the stages of habits: cue, craving, response, reward. How does understanding these help us?
This framework is the real nuts and bolts. It's based on solid behavioral science, mapping out how habits work. Every habit follows this loop. First, there's a cue, something that triggers your brain. Could be a time, a place, an emotion. Then comes the craving. That's the motivation, the desire for the reward you anticipate. Followed by the response, the actual habit itself, the action you take. And finally, the reward, the satisfaction you get, which tells your brain, hey, that was good, let's do it again, reinforces the whole loop.
Cue, craving, response, reward.
Okay. And the genius is, once you understand these 4 stages, you can consciously tweak each one. You can engineer good habits by making each stage work for you, or dismantle bad habits by making them work against you. It's like having the user manual for your own brain.
Hacking your own psychological architecture. I like that.
Oh.
All right, let's break them down. Law 1, make it obvious.
Right. This is all about the cue, the trigger. Many habits happen almost unconsciously because the cue is just there in our environment. So if the cue isn't obvious, the habit often doesn't even start. To build a good habit, you need to make that cue unmissable, really visible and obvious.
And his examples are so down to earth. Like, want to work out in the morning? Don't just think about it. Put your workout clothes right next to your bed, first thing you see. Want to eat more fruit? Don't hide it in the fridge drawer. Put a fruit bowl right there on the counter.
Exactly. It seems almost too simple, but it works because it removes that initial friction of having to remember or decide. The cue does the work.
And for bad habits, you do the opposite.
You flip it. Make the cue invisible. Trying to cut down on mindless phone scrolling, don't just put it face down on your desk, put it in another room. Or stick it in a drawer. Out of sight genuinely helps keep it out of mind. It reduces the temptation significantly, saves your willpower.
That environmental design piece is key. Okay, and then there's habit stacking under this law too, right? That sounds clever.
It is clever. You basically piggyback a new habit onto one you already do automatically, like your example earlier. After I brush my teeth existing habit, I will floss 1 tooth new habit.
Just 1 tooth.
We'll start small, right? The point is, the existing habit brushing your teeth becomes the super reliable cue for the new one. You don't have to remember to floss. The cue is built in.
Brilliant. Okay, law 2, make it attractive. Tapping into desire.
Yep. This is about the craving stage. Our brains are wired to seek pleasure and rewards, largely thanks to dopamine. We're way more likely to repeat behaviors that we find appealing or that promise some kind of satisfaction. The more attractive it seems, the stronger the craving.
So how do we make, say, exercise more attractive if we kind of dread it? He mentions temptation bundling. Sounds fun.
It is. You link something you want to do with something you need to do. So you only get to listen to your absolute favorite podcast while you're on the treadmill, or you only allow yourself that really nice cup of coffee while you're working on that tough report.
Okay. So you tie the must-do to a get-to-do.
Precisely. It uses the anticipation of the reward you enjoy to pull you through the task you might otherwise avoid. Makes it feel less like a chore.
And for breaking bad habits, make them unattractive.
Exactly. You reframe your mindset. Focus on the downsides, the negative consequences, instead of thinking, I have to quit smoking, which feels like deprivation.
Yeah, like you're losing something.
Right. You reframe it as, I'm choosing to be helped and I'm choosing freedom from addiction. I'm choosing to have more energy. You focus on the benefits of not doing the bad habit. It changes your emotional connection to it.
That mindset shift is huge.
Okay.
Law 3, make it easy. Seems obvious, but maybe not.
Well, it's where a lot of us stumble. We get all motivated and decide, I'm going to run 5 miles every day, starting tomorrow.
Guilty.
Right. We set the bar way too high. Clear says we need to reduce the friction, the effort required to start. Make good habits almost effortless.
And make bad habits harder.
Increase the friction there. It's about the path of least resistance. Our energy and motivation fluctuate, so we need to design for the days we don't feel motivated.
So practical examples. Chopping veggies on Sunday for the whole week makes healthy eating easier during busy weeknights.
Perfect. Or placing your book on your pillow means zero effort to pick it up at night.
And making bad habits harder, like taking the batteries out of the TV remote, putting them in another room.
Yes. Anything that adds steps, adds effort, makes you pause and think, do I really want to do this? It introduces friction.
And this leads to the 2-minute rule, which feels like a total game changer.
Oh, it really is. The rule is, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do.
2 minutes. That's it.
That's the start. The goal isn't to master the habit in 2 minutes. It's just to show up, to initiate the behavior. So instead of read 30 pages, your habit is open the book and read 1 sentence. Instead of do a 30-minute workout, it's put on my running shoes.
Just start the process.
Exactly. It makes it ridiculously easy to be consistent. And consistency builds momentum. Often, once you started, you'll do more than 2 minutes anyway. But the key is mastering the art of showing up. It reinforces the identity first.
That takes away so much pressure. Okay, finally, Law 4. Make it satisfying. Gotta have the payoff.
You got it. This closes the habit loop, the reward. Habits stick because they feel good, they provide some kind of satisfaction, and crucially, our brains prioritize immediate satisfaction. Long-term benefits are great, but often too far away to keep us motivated day to day.
So we need to find ways to make good habits feel good now.
Yes. Engineer immediate rewards. Maybe you use a habit tracker app and get that little dopamine hit from checking off the box.
Or like your savings example, visually tracking it, seeing the number go up feels good right away.
Right. Or after exercise, maybe you allow yourself 10 minutes guilt-free on social media. Or enjoy a really nice shower, something that signals completion and reward immediately.
And for bad habits, make them unsatisfying. Quickly.
Flip it again. Introduce an immediate cost or downside. This is where things like accountability partners come in. If you have to report to someone that you skipped your workout or smoked a cigarette, that little bit of social discomfort, that pain, can be enough immediate negative feedback to discourage the behavior. Public commitments work the same way.
Nobody likes to fail publicly. Yeah. Okay, these 4 laws are incredibly practical, a real toolkit. But then Clear goes deeper, doesn't he? He talks about identity-based habits. He calls this one of the most powerful lessons. This feels foundational.
It absolutely is. This might be the most profound shift in the whole book. He argues that lasting change isn't really about the outcomes you want, lose weight, write a book.
Oh.
It's about changing your identity, shifting your beliefs about who you are. The core question changes from, what do I want to achieve, to who do I wish to become?
Wow. Okay, unpack that. From achieve to become.
So instead of focusing on, I want to read 20 books this year, outcome, you focus on, I want to become a reader, identity.
Yeah.
Instead of, I want to run a marathon, it's, I want to become a runner. Instead of, I need to quit smoking, it's, I want to become a non-smoker. You align your actions with this desired identity.
How does that work in practice?
He uses this great metaphor. Every action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to be. Every time you choose fruit over chips, you cast a vote for I am a healthy person. Every time you write one paragraph, you vote for I am a writer, even if it's tiny.
Little vote adding up.
Exactly. These small wins, these votes, gradually build evidence. Over time, they reshape your self-image. The behaviors start to feel natural because they're just what someone like you does. It's incredibly powerful because it comes from the inside out.
That really reframes everything. Okay, and another big piece he emphasizes is environment. He says, environment often shapes behavior more than motivation. That feels huge too. We think it's all internal willpower.
It's huge and often underestimated. Think about it. Willpower comes and goes. It gets depleted, especially when you're tired or stressed.
Totally.
But your environment, it's always there, constantly nudging you, subtly influencing your choices, whether you realize it or not. If your environment is set up to make good habits easy and obvious, you need less willpower. If it's full of cues for bad habits, you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. He calls it the invisible hand.
So it's about being an architect of your own surroundings.
Precisely. Be intentional. Want to focus better. Designate a specific workspace. Keep it clean. Remove distractions. That space signals work.
Want to play more guitar? Don't keep it in the case in the closet. Put it on a stand right in your living room. Make it easy to pick up.
Want to eat less junk? The easiest way is just don't buy it. Don't bring it into the house. Make the good choice the path of least resistance.
It comes back to that idea. Willpower is finite, but design is permanent, or at least more persistent.
Exactly. Relying only on willpower is like trying to swim upstream constantly. Designing your environment is like redirecting the current so it flows with you. Stack the odds in your favor.
Love that. Okay, so we're using the laws Building systems, shifting identity, designing our environment. How do we keep it going? Sustain it. Clear talks about tracking and reflection, right?
Yeah, feedback is crucial for staying on course.
Yeah.
Tracking your habits, simple check marks on a calendar, using an app, whatever works, gives you that visual proof of progress. It's motivating to see the chain of consistency you're building. Don't break the chain.
Right, that visual feedback loop.
And then reflection, taking time, maybe just once a week or month, to step back, ask yourself, is this system working? What barriers came up? What can I tweak? It's about continuous improvement, not setting it and forgetting it.
And he has some advanced ideas, too, for when you're really trying to master something long-term, like the Goldilocks rule.
Right. This is about staying motivated. The idea is that humans experience peak motivation when working on tasks that are right on the edge of their current abilities. Not too hard, so you feel overwhelmed and quit. Not too easy, so you get bored. Just right. That just manageable difficulty keeps you engaged.
Finding that sweet spot to avoid boredom or frustration.
Exactly. It keeps the challenge interesting and pulls you into that state of flow.
And then there's avoiding the plateau of latent potential. This one really explains why people give up too soon.
Oh, this is such a critical concept. He explains that progress, especially with habits, often isn't linear. It compounds, but the initial results can be almost invisible. It feels like nothing is happening.
The effort seems wasted.
Right. But beneath the surface, potential is building. He uses that brilliant ice cube analogy.
Tell me that again.
Imagine an ice cube in a room at 25 degrees Fahrenheit. You slowly raise the temperature, 26, 27, 28, up to 31 degrees. What happens to the ice cube?
Nothing. Still frozen solid.
Exactly. No visible change. But then you hit 32 degrees.
And boom, it starts to melt.
Right. All that work, all those degrees of warming up from 25 to 31 wasn't wasted. It was building the potential for the breakthrough. People often quit in that 25 to 31 degree phase because they don't see results. They give up just before the melting point. It's a powerful reminder to trust the process, keep showing up, even when progress feels slow.
Wow, that analogy makes it so clear. So, wrapping this up, why do you think Atomic Habits has struck such a chord? Why does it resonate so much?
I think it's a combination. It's deeply rooted in science, but it's presented in such a clear, practical, actionable way. It avoids hype and focuses on systems. The metaphors are sticky, the advice is concrete, and his own story adds that layer of authenticity. It really feels like a toolkit that anyone can use to make meaningful changes, starting small. It demystifies habit change.
It really does. It makes it feel achievable. So maybe the thought to leave everyone with today is this. If you really want to change your life, maybe don't obsess over the final outcome right now. Instead, look at your habits. Look at those tiny daily actions and ask yourself, what's one small thing, just 1% better I can do today? What one tiny action can I take right now that casts a vote for the person I truly want to become?